Hello, this is Gene Fay. I want to record another episode of Old Dogs New Tricks AI Edition. Last week, OpenAI did Dev Day, which is mostly focused on developers, and they made a lot of major improvements in the app in terms of being able to code and do admin controls and other things like that. But I did find some what I'll call consumer capabilities that I thought were worth sharing on the podcast, specifically how you could use things like Spotify or bookings.com within the app. So let's jump into it and I'll talk to you about what I think are neat new tricks that we could utilize ChatGPT. So let's move over to ChatGPT here. So what we can do now is, let's say I want to, for those that have watched this a few episodes, know I'm a big runner. I'm going to run 4-hour marathon, create a playlist in Spotify, at Spotify. So it gives me this option now where you see add Spotify. And if I click go, you'll see here in a second, it will ask me to give it permission. Click agree. And now that it's connected to Spotify, it'll go off and create a playlist. And I did try this earlier, and it takes a few seconds, but it's not that long. And it does give a pretty neat, again, 4-hour playlist. And I didn't give it a lot of detail. I could have given it even more specifics as to the type of music that I wanted to play. But now if I want to see the playlist, here's the playlist. If I want to then press play, and there's the playlist. It's a pretty neat, kind of simple example. Here's something a little more complex. Let's say want to New York City this weekend. Take the train from Boston to NYC. See major sites and need use bookings. And there you go. So again, it will do the same process that it did before to go through and ask for permissions. This one will take a little bit longer because it's got to do a little more thinking. So again, it'll go out, connect to the app. This works on your phone as well as your desktop. I'm doing this on the desktop because it's easier to record Zoom. But it's a pretty interesting way to think about how to use ChatGPT. So I'll go there. Again, there you go. I thought it was taking a little bit longer than it did last time, but not that bad. Now it'll go off and using bookings.com with not a lot of details, it will start to create an itinerary for me. And what you can think about now as this is thinking is like, what are the future capabilities that they want to build into ChatGPT? And I'm sure Claude and Perplexix and others are going to do the very similar things. But here's the hotels recommendations. I can create the full itinerary. If I say, hey, I want to click this, I want to book this hotel, then it goes over and I can reserve it right here. So both between the Spotify example and the bookings.com example, you can see some pretty easy ways to make ChatGPT even more valuable. If you go into apps and connectors, you can see here's the apps that I've connected to, here's other ones that are available and additional ones. And they're going to, I'm sure, build this out to be more and more powerful. But I do think it's a major step forward for ChatGPT in terms of how do we utilize it day in and day out. I gave some pretty basic examples with Spotify and bookings.com, but as you can imagine, what the future could be as they integrate more and more apps into ChatGPT, I think it's going to be pretty powerful. So thank you for listening to this episode of Old Dogs New Tricks. If there's things that you're wondering about, please leave a comment and I'll be glad to do some research and create a quick podcast. Thanks a lot and have a great day.